And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of All the Mods 10. So, in the last episode, we were over in the mining dimension setting up the Tech quarry and the builder to go ahead and start collecting as many materials as possible, which is where we are gonna go right now. However, I did want to show you guys something real quick. So, if we take a quick look over here, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I did make ourselves a little something, and I did base it on the Tech design, so I thought it came out pretty good and wanted to show you guys. It's not complete yet, but I think it looks pretty good. So, if we take a little fly around, as you can see, we have these little add-on slots so that if theoretically we wanted to add on to it, we could always put another box right here and that would extend it, but we aren't going to do that. I'm not going to make every build based on one of the machines, but I thought this one was pretty nice, especially for a starter. So yeah, this is how it came out. Thought it was pretty good, and if you're wondering which one this is, it is the assembler. How I said, I have yet to do the top, and I'm not sure if I do or don't want to, but if I do, then I am definitely going to include this arm, and we will use some create so that we can send some redstone to it to connect it to some type of bearing so that it can move around. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, so first things first, let's head over into the mining dimension so I can show you guys the results. I did end up having to use both of the storages, so I can't really show you guys what exactly the outcome was between the destroyer and the builder. However, on average, when I did the math, this destroyer block was indeed better at collecting resources. I think one of the better metrics was looking at diamonds and gold. So when it came to gold, this one produced about, I want to say, 14 blocks of gold, like actual gold blocks from the nether little nugget thing from down below, and this one produced about 9. So this one yielded about 5 extra gold blocks, which was pretty cool. And then when it did come to the gold ore blocks, this one was also up, I believe, like 7 or 8 more gold blocks than this one per chunk, which is pretty cool. And then diamonds as well. This one was like 5 extra blocks more than the builder per chunk. However, as I said, this guy is just way slower. To be exact, this guy finished mining all 9 chunks, and this guy was still, I think it was barely entering the endstone area. I mean, this guy will mine all the way to bedrock, whereas the builder over here will not mine all the way to bedrock. It will stop at a couple layers into endstone. So I want to say this could mine 9 chunks by the time this guy maybe hits endstone. Maybe it takes a little longer. So yes, the yield is way better, but just by speed, this one's better because, how I said, per chunk better. But since this is mining 9 chunks in the time it takes this guy to mine 1, you're getting so many ores in the same time frame that you don't really care too much about the yield per chunk. Maybe if we had this increased or used better machine cores where we could add way more add-ons and throw on way more speed efficiencies and all that other stuff, then maybe we can compare it once again, and then this guy might be the better pick. But as of right now, currently, the builder is just way too good. I mean, I did set it up again on this side, so we do have pretty nice huge hole where we did mine out everything. And how I said, if you guys just managed to get only one oldemodium, don't worry too much. All you have to do is come over here And as you can see, you have so much that you could just come and grab for free, which is probably one of my favorite things. Let's get the silk touch. Boom. Oh, whoops, I forget you cannot vein miner this stuff, so I'm just gonna mine this. Boom. And we will get this little chunk of 4, and then we will head back up. Okay, boom. And actually, we'll get this one too. And then we will head up, just because I think I need a little bit more for something I do want to do in the near future. But yeah, as you can see, if you do come over here, the end stone is, how I said, a couple layers in and then it ends. However, this layer also does have ores, so we are missing out on a few ores here and there, but I mean, it's up to you. Do you really need all of this, or do you want to set this up again and just mine more ores? Because technically, this doesn't matter too much. But yeah, Extreme Reactor powering the builder, it's way too good. It's beautiful. I actually need to set it up to go ahead and mine way more, but I can do that in the near future. One thing I did want to mention is that I am going to do the apotheosis leveling up all by myself. Well, let's see. We could do this one easily by ourselves. As for this one's slain the Wither, and then this one's slain the Ender Dragon. Well, we can do these together, but I mean, that one's easy. How I said, I did set up the farm to give me the stuff, so what am I missing? Or let me grab all the uncommon gear, just throw it on real quick and hold it just so that we can unlock that tier real quick. Boom. Look at that. We ascended. But yeah, how I said, if we were to go to this one, armor increases, we get more XP, luck, rarities change, and then if we come over here to Ascent and click activate here, and look here, as you see, our luck increases, more XP, mobs get harder, and then everything shifts over a little bit more. So yeah, if you are trying to farm this stuff, I mean, progressing is the way to go. However, I am thinking I might run the mob farm since I do have it off. I think I might turn it on offline just so that we can get some uh rare tier equipment so that I can break it down, put it into our actual armor, and then see what happens. Just because I think, or in my opinion, it's not hard to get that rare tier stuff. So getting that, breaking it down, I guess I'll show you guys a little bit of that, and then we'll go fight the Wither, probably go slay the Elder Guardian or whatever his name is out in the ocean. So that'll be its own thing. But yeah, back to this. So we got ourselves 11 Oldemodium, which is super nice, very useful. But yeah, one of the mods that I do want to jump into is Theurgy, just because I want to show you guys how cool it can be. But before we get into that, I did want to grab our little upgrades over here. Let's see, we need you, and you, and we'll grab you. Organize that real quick. There was something else. Oh yeah, if you come over here to the quests, if you only found one template, you could always claim the one over here for an extra. Same thing over here with the Oldemodium one. You could claim it, and same with the Vibranium. So just like that, we managed to get ourselves a couple more, which is very nice. But let's see, I do want to upgrade our netherite pickaxe. So if we come over here, shift click that there, put one of these and one of these, we get ourselves the Oldemodium pickaxe. So now it's unbreakable, it's beautiful, it works, and it keeps all of our enchantments. Awesome. Now we don't have to worry about uh, it breaking ever again. And then we could do the same thing to our armor. However, the armor that I'm thinking of working towards is probably the mage armor, just because it looks a little more cool than the Ars variant. Look at that. I kind of like it a little bit more. So if we click on it to see how we can craft it, I'll just look over it. I'll probably craft it all by myself, just so that I'm not taking up your guys' time. But oh, look at that. We can convert. Oh no, this is, what is that? Soulbound. Ah. But yeah, as you can see over here, if you go to Iron Spells and look at the higher tier armors, it's basically any armor of the magic type, whatever armor you make, and or the battle mage or netherite armor. You can turn any of those into the Aldemodium variant. So the one that I will be working on is most likely the shadow armor, just because if we take a quick look at this in the crafting, it's super easy. Oh, that's cool. You could just craft it over here. I didn't know that. And it's slightly different. Interesting. Okay, let me save that. But if we take a quick look at the recipe, we do need an ender rune and some wizard robes, and arcane essence. But if we click on the wizard robes, basically the same thing, just arcane cloth. So that's just arcane essence surrounding some wool. So if you go, what, 24 of this, 24 times 8 would be, what, 192? So what, about 3 stacks of essence to make your wizard armor, and then 24 wool. And then you combine this with, what is it? I'm guessing 4 ender runes. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's super easy. Jeez, okay. And then crafting this guy is like usual, just some ender pearls and a blank runestone, which this can be hard, but it feels like it's gotten easier with the newer version of the pack. And I mean, ender pearls, mob farms that so easily. It's like, what even matters? It doesn't even matter. Okay, let's see. Where are the runestones? I mean, I did make a lot of Oritech stuff. What is that? Ah, we will go take care of him, see what type of rare gear he will drop. Yep, we are over here. Okay, cool. So we do have 2 blink, so I only need 2 more, but that's not too much of a concern. Okay, let's take care of this guy. And boom. Okay. Jeez. Okay, he's a little tanky. Let's get rid of this guy. Ah. So the armor does help out a ton. Okay. I mean, we could just keep spamming this guy. Doesn't really matter. Oh, and we got both of them with that last shot. That was pretty nice. Not bad. Okay, let's get down here. Sweet. Okay, let's drop that on the floor. That shield, I mean, that chestplate's pretty nice. Throw this in here. Cool. Not bad. That's a pretty solid chestplate. Cannot lie. But yeah, this is really easy. Let's take a quick nap. I don't know if you guys seen or if you guys have played the newer version of this pack. I want to say these dungeons were added. However, I'm not too sure. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Potential. I think this site has one of these stalwart dungeons. It's basically one of those dungeons from Cisco's, if you guys remember. Okay, I think I might have went to the wrong one. Let's see. And yeah, there's nothing here. Nope. Over here. So what's that? South? South in this direction. Let's see. What is that? I don't remember seeing that before. What are you? That's pretty cool. I cannot lie. Okay. Where was it? Yes. Okay, so it was over here. But yeah, I don't know if you guys remember this from Cisco's, but these guys are also pretty good when it comes to early game and you're trying to find some loot or armor. Not to mention down in the netherite or in the nether section, aka the last layer, there are tons of runestones that you can acquire, which is pretty cool. So now that we have this Aldemodium pickaxe, I think going to the nether would be the smart thing. That's why it's kind of dumb that I flew over here. But yeah, I did mark an area where we do have some vibranium that I did manage to find. Uh, I found it by accident while I was looking for quartz, which is kind of crazy because I did not expect to find any. It felt like you can find the vibranium at a lower level than I remember. So press J and it is northwest. So let's just fly in this direction and see if we can spot the waypoint. Cool. And be on the lookout for any more vibranium. Well, doesn't matter too much, but it would be nice if we can spot a little bit more for free. Okay, vibranium. It's in this area, so was it down here? Hold up. Or is that the wrong one? Okay, so it's down here. Is it down here? Nope. So it was up a little bit. Okay. Yes, there it is. I said, this is lower than usual. I am accustomed to finding this on the roof. However, just flying on the roof, I haven't really been seeing it that much. There is only one block, so we will grab this and head back over here and then showcase the mod that I did want to go over, which is Theurgy. So, in my last All the Mods 10 series, I did talk a little bit about Theurgy, and the main reason why I was using it was for, I believe Stellarite, because we did need that. So let me mine all of this just so I can show you guys the recipes and what these are and why they are important to us. Okay, let me also move all this stuff out the way so it's not as cluttered. And that looks good enough. Put you back over here. Beautiful. Ruin a little bit of stuff here, but doesn't really matter. I could just set this up real quick. Boom. Let's get you guys as well. And then recap it. So, Theurgy. It is an alchemy mod where you can destroy metals and minerals and ores and whatever the case may be and turn it into some type of mercury, salt, and or sulfur. And then using alchemical practices, you make the ore and or multiply it, which I really like because if you look at vibranium, as you saw, we only found one piece. If we were to use fortune on it, there's a chance that we could have gotten 3 from mining it, which is really solid. And then we could have hammered it and probably got maybe 6, but what are the odds that we actually get very lucky and get that? So instead of mining it and taking the chance of 3 and or just end up getting 1, getting it and turning it into 2, what I can do is turn it into 5 through incubation. So how do I get 5 when you're looking at it here and you're getting 1? If you click on it, if you use the ore mixed with some sal ammoniac, you can turn 1 ore into 5, which is automatically better than trying to fortune it, and that is pretty useful. So the things that you are going to need to get into Theurgy and get yourself into a process where you can multiply this stuff, well, one of the most important parts that you do want to make sure you have 4 of, you don't need 5 unless you're setting up multiple little areas for this, but this pyromantic brazier. This is very simple using stone or any stone type with 5 copper, so getting 4 of these should be super easy. Let me put this guy right here, 1 right here. I guess I could put 1 here, and then this guy was random, and then this guy is the big boy that we actually care about. Cool. Kind of have it a little set up. So, oh wait, you don't go there. You go over here. Yes, something else goes there. So that is just the pyro thing. It's to heat up all of these different items that we are going to be using. And if you are confused as to which one does need any heating, right here you do get a little tag, and if you do press control, it does tell you the usage and tells you what item belongs on what. So like this incubator does need one of these braziers and needs vessels for the ingredients. So incubator, as you saw, is what takes all the three different elements and turns it into the ore. To craft this guy, it's just some gold, some stone types, some planks, and copper. So very nice, cheap thing to make that is going to be playing a huge role. Besides that, you are going to want this liquefaction cauldron, which is just copper, iron, and some stone. Honestly, you just need copper, iron, stone, gold, planks, maybe a couple sticks, and that's basically everything you really need to get into this. So pretty simple. So we'll toss this guy right here, and then this guy does need a pyromantic brazier. But to be able to use this guy, which you're mixing the sal ammoniac with the mineral to make the sulfur, you are going to need sal ammoniac, which, I mean, there's two different ways of doing that, but if you want to do it for free, like maybe in the early game, all you have to do is make these two guys. The ammoniac tank, which is iron, copper, sticks, and the accumulator, which is stone, iron, and sticks. So very simple. And if you hold control, as you can see, you place this guy, the accumulator, on top of the tank, and then you fill this guy up with water, and over time it will make sal ammoniac. I didn't make a sink because the sinks are technically infinite water sources, and I did use a Oritech fluid pipe, and then as soon as you do this, water goes in and it's going to start producing some sal ammoniac. If you want to increase the speed of which this is working, let's see, I thought, yeah, I do. So if you come over here, as you can see, if we right click this guy, it's going to have the crystal. It's going to make this so much faster because I believe one of these ammoniacs automatically produce a bucket once it's fully dissolved. So instead of waiting a little bit to get 0.1 buckets, you could just throw a crystal or two in here and get it way faster. And then you could just come over here and connect it like such so that you can pump the ammoniac in, or the ammoniac into the liquefaction cauldron, and that guy is basically set. All of these braziers can work with any type of fuel type, so I will be using coal, and that is how you set this guy up. Over here we do have these two guys that I will be using. One of them is the calcination oven, and as you can see, a device to extract salts from any items. There are a few different types of salts. If you are curious as to which ones there are, you can take a look. However, the only one that we care about, or yeah, basically we care about using, is the mineral salt, because that is what we are going to need to mix with the sulfur and some mercury to get our ingot. So the little calcination oven goes here on top of another pyromantic brazier, and then this one is the mercury distiller, where this guy is how you get the mercury that you will also need for the ingots. So this guy also belongs on another pyromantic brazier, and that is basically your setup. These guys you are not going to be able to make right away. These guys do require you to have one of each. So like this vessel requires the sulfur, so you need to make a sulfur. This one requires mercury first. This one requires some salt first. So you are going to have to put a little investment in it, which is going to be very simple. So let's grab these guys for examples, even though I already have it. And we have the coal. Okay, cool. So this guy gives us mineral salts. So you will want to put some type of mineral in it. You could do any type of ore or the output itself. I just do the ores just because it's a little faster. Give it a little bit of coal and that'll get to work. Same thing with the mercury distiller. Put some type of ore or its raw form or full form, and then you can also cook it down and you will get whatever you need. So as you can see, we got some salts. Boom. Now that we have the salt, we can mix it with some copper and stone, and we get the salt vessel, which now we could place right here on one of the sides of the pyromantic brazier, I believe. We'll see if it works or not. And then over here, how I said, you get the mercury, then you can make the mercury variant. So then you can put this guy down. And then right here, you have the sulfur one, which if we throw one of these guys over here with some coal, it'll turn the silver ore into its sulfur variant. Boom. Now you can make this guy and then place it right here, just like that. Now we have all of them. And what's cool is usually for the ores or metals, you usually get anywhere from 4 to 5 getting outputted. So it is better than having Fortune 3. And it's very convenient in the fact that it is basically a guarantee. So we are going to need to throw this vibranium over here to turn it into its sulfur counterpart. And once it's done, we should be able to make it into the ore. However, I do want to put one on the side. I might be disappointed and or be very glad I did so. As for why, I'll go over it in a minute, but first, let's come over here. This is the sulfur, so we throw this in here. Over here, we have the salt. Throw the salt, the mineral salt. In this one, we throw the mercury, and I believe if we give this guy a little bit of coal, it is ready and starts working. Let's see. Let's give it a little moment because I'm not sure if these guys can be right here on the side or if they actually have to be touching. Which I think they might actually have to be touching, so I might have to raise these guys one. But not too sure. Okay, and it should have been done by now, so let's get these out real quick. And move it up one. Okay, let's do that. 1, 2, and 3. And then just throw these guys all along the side once again. This one was the salt. So salt, mercury, and sulfur. Boom. Okay, yep. So it does have to be touching the incubator. Kind of forgot about that. But now it is turning it into vibranium. So we turned 1 ore into 4, potentially 5. However, how I said, I kind of want to test something out. Just because I did test it for this, and this is the divination rod. So what it says is, if it is crafted with a certain material, it will be attuned to said ore, and you can use it to find some ore. As you can see, I did test it out, and it worked. And I did find diamonds. So I do want to make one for the vibranium. And if you look at the recipe, it's just 1 amethyst, 1 diamond, some glass, and the sulfur type. So, if I am not mistaken, we could use this to go ahead and find some in the nether, or use it with some vibranium to find more in the nether. Just like that. Now we have it attuned to vibranium ore, and now I'm curious as to whether it will work or not, which is very convenient, because if it does work, then, I mean, we get more vibranium, and that solves our early vibranium crisis. So, let's see how it works. So we have it, we are on Y74, so we are decently high. If you just right click it, it's going to make noise, but it doesn't do anything. So before you do anything, you do have to hold it and have it go for a while, and then boom, it'll launch an orb pointing to it. And look at that, so close to our portal, and we had no clue that it was right here. It's that simple. It's so nice. Look at this. Boom. Now we can come over here and easily get ourselves some more vibranium. Okay, cool. And then if I do it again, it's, as you see, it's not really shooting another orb. Oh, oh no, it was still locked onto that position. So if I hold it and charge it, boom, now it's pointing in another direction. I guess I am blind. I have nothing to say. It's literally right there. Like, I mean, hey, I it works. It works. That's all I can say. It works. So if you're struggling on finding it like how I was, and I guess I'm blind, which I am, but that was very nice. Let's see. Let's find one more. Boom. Shooting in this direction. What's over here? Another one, of course. And it's all along the roof where I couldn't find it. And this one has two. This is very, very nice. Let's see. Yep. That, I mean, I don't know what to say. Just like that. It's literally that easy. We just got ourselves another fort. Oh, come on, dude. Really had to do that? But yeah, just like that. 4 more vibranium. So easy. Zero struggle. Finds it, locates it. We shoot an orb at it. And boom. And just like that, we only used 3 durability. So we could find quite a bit more. And this only required 1 dust to make. 1 turned into 4. Like, I don't know what to say. Because now, if you use Fortune, you might feel a little less hurt. However, we can always just use this setup, throw all of these guys in, give it some coal, and then wait until we get, what is it? Each one produces 20? 20 more vibranium just from this, just by waiting. Like, and then we just repeat this process. And as you guys saw, it's pretty cheap. It's not too difficult of a setup. And you can just throw in large amounts. Like here, we just threw in the mercury. Here, we just threw in all the salts. And then we could just leave it there and then throw in more stuff here and then get more and more and more. But yeah, it's literally that easy to increase your yield from 1 without having to rely on fortune. So let's go ahead and get ourselves this vibranium. Come over here, throw our pickaxe, throw the vibranium, and boom. Now we have ourselves a vibranium pickaxe. And we are technically ready to go ahead and collect ourselves some unobtainium. But I said, I guess I'll save that for another episode because that will require us to go into the end and slay the Ender Dragon. And since I have already beaten this version of Apotheosis before and know what's next, how I said, offline, I'll get myself the rare equipment, get prepared so that we could just go ahead, slay the Wither. We'll go ahead and slay the Elder Guardian. That'll be an episode of its own, maybe mixed in with a little bit of enchanting from Apotheosis. And then we'll do a nice little episode just fighting in the end and finding ourselves some unobtainium. But yeah, that was basically what I really wanted to showcase this episode. Talk a little bit about the Oritech Quarry versus the Builder, where the Builder was just so much better, so much more efficient, so much faster. But Oritech is pretty solid. My thing is, I'm thinking of using the Oritech mine here in the overworld compared to the Builder, just because the scrap ore that, or the amount of scrap that I do need to maintain these guns is kind of high, just because it does take 8 to make a repair kit, and if you are using your gun non-stop to slay the enemies instead of a sword, kind of use the durability quite fast, just because you cannot put unbreaking on these guns, so the durability goes. It does go. So just a little heads up on that. Besides that, I wanted to showcase how easy it was to get vibranium using the divination rod. I did not realize that I was so blind as to miss out on the ores that were just so close to us. So that was kind of embarrassing, but the fact that we can easily turn it into another 20 is kind of cool. I can't lie, it's kind of cool how easy it is to just get so much from so little bit of work. Like it's amazing. I love this mod. It's so nice, so simple, doesn't look too crazy, doesn't involve so many crazy aspects. It does have its own piping network, so if you do want to set it up to be somewhat more automated and have certain things automatically place them in one of these guys, there is that, and you can check that out over here in the quest tab. If you guys come down here, it is over here in the magic section. Just go to Theurgy, and you kind of have a little bit of outline that shows all the different salts, what you can do, what other blocks there are that can do different things. Like I believe this one right here, yeah, the reformation, you basically give it one type of mineral. Say I want this mineral, so you sacrifice a mineral to turn it into the one that you want. So that could also be pretty cool. So if you are into that, I highly recommend checking out this mod. Very good way of multiplying your ores super easily, especially in the early game, without having all the setups and without having all the seeds just yet. So very nice, very efficient. I love it. Just kind of had to go on a quick rant with that. Besides that, all I've done offline, besides build this, was kind of set up this little area over here, just because I did want to make a lot more yields. So I was finding ways of making these plastic sheets where before, as we talked about it, I was cooking the polymer to get plastic sheets, but here I did use the centrifuge to make one polymer into two, which kind of did a lot. So I have a ton of that for future usage and current usage, just because I did realize that if you do use these speed upgrades on generators, it does increase the power output. So here the base was 2048. However, with I believe, what is that, 3 speed upgrades, it does turn into 5120 something. But yeah, it basically increased its output. Same thing over here. It has 2 spots in the back. Of course, we could put add-ons and keep throwing more speed upgrades. But if you just put the 2 speed upgrades on this lava generator that produces 256, it will double its output to 512, which is pretty cool. So kind of want to experiment with Oritech, see what type of limits we can push these machines to. I said it's more of a experimental thing for me. I'm having fun messing around with it. If you guys don't want to use it, don't use it. I mean, there's so many mods in this pack, you don't have to stick to this for your setups, but you will have to dabble in this at one point or another to make the Manhattan modules, so just be a little wary on that. That's probably something I will slowly work towards since we are in the Oritech area. But yeah, I think the next thing to do is probably work on applied energistics. How I said, uh, basically finish up the apotheosis and get ourselves some titanium before we start tackling stuff to beat the pack by making the star. But yeah, over here, ooh, I do have oil getting pumped into this tank so that I can turn it into a diesel and light naphtha, because the light naphtha was used to make the sand into the polymer. So yeah, oil being pumped into here and then extracted from that valve and sent over here into the refinery, which right now it's producing heavy oil just because I forgot to put a hopper here with some catalyst to turn this into diesel. But yeah, comes here, gets turned into diesel, diesel stored there, naphtha stored here, extra sulfuric acid gets sent over here. All this shield fire, I mean, this stuff's going to be nice for the future. I mean, it's good that we're storing it now. And yeah, naphtha sent over here. I don't have it pumping currently, so it's nice and empty so that I can switch between the naphtha and the water for the plastic. Let's see. Besides that, I think the last thing we can do before we wrap this up completely is make ourselves the. Nah, you know what? I'll save that for another episode because I think everybody wants to take a quick look at how the LMG looks like and how it will function. But yeah, just like that. There's so many things that you could do to increase power output with Oritech. It's very convenient, very fun. My personal uh, favorite thing about this pack is the fact that these guys do have a lot of moving parts. So I think it's very cool that we are slowly adding animations to the blocks, and I think that helps give Minecraft a little bit of life just because it is very still and it can be nice, but this stuff is also pretty cool. I think that's the reason why Create is so loved by so many, because it adds moving features and you can make a lot of moving contraptions that look really cool or add to some sort of aesthetics. And Worry Tech is following that and doing its own thing with it. But yeah, with that, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, and or advice, leave it down below. Like I said, if there's something you want to see, let me know. Maybe I'll be able to help point you in the right direction, and or it can be something that we will slowly start working towards. Just because we are slowly getting to the point where we have the really good gear, and once you have good gear, it just makes sense to go ahead and jump into the actual quest line. Because whether we like it or not, it will take quite a while to get all of this done. I mean, just looking at this can feel overwhelming, but if we attack it slowly, a little bit of a time, we could do this without worrying too much. It should be pretty easy. And how I said, I do want to make it a little different compared to before by changing up some things, doing a couple things different, and seeing what type of gameplay we can get out of this. But yeah, with that, guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It does help me, does help the channel, and could push this content out towards people that might need a little bit of help. Not to mention, we are playing this with guns this time around, so there's some things that are changing, can change. I guess the one last note I want to put before I actually wrap this up is I have been modifying the config files over here and editing it and setting these different things to different percentages. And so far, it seems like I have not been able to get any flares, not to mention the amount of factions that have raided is not very different. We are on day 148. I've been just leaving my character AFK while the builders have been mining and kind of forgetting about it. So we are very far in the year according to Minecraft. But yeah, not really many factions, not really many gunners. So I haven't been able to get any flares. So I think if we are going to be fighting another faction, I will have to spawn them in like how I did before. So that's kind of a little downside right now. However, maybe messing with the configs a little bit more, maybe I'll be able to get it to work. But as of right now, that hasn't been the case. But yeah, if you guys are having fun, let me know. If you guys want to try this out, the gun mod I am using is Just Enough Guns. It is originally made for the 120.1, so all the mods 9 probably get the proper working version of it. Any other mod pack of that level can also have this mod added to it. It's pretty nice, very fun, especially when it works here. It works really well, but there's some conflictions, and that's because this is a fork, so of course it was bound to happen, but otherwise, very solid. But yeah, with that, guys, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace.